Hey everybody, welcome back to Yogi Plant. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. So we're going to have a nice, well-rounded practice tonight. We're going to be focusing on stress relief. So I invite you to join me in Sukhasana tonight. So we're going to come to Sukhasana or easy pose. You could be sitting on your block if you like to do that, like me. Starting to come into your yoga breath. So breathing, inhaling through your nose. Pausing at the top. And then exhaling through your nose. And pausing at the bottom. So as you're breathing, you may be counting as you inhale, and then after you pause at the top, exhaling for the same number of counts as you inhale. And while you're settling into your yoga breath tonight, bringing your awareness to the mat, I invite you to sit up a little taller. Opening up that collarbone. Letting your shoulder blades fall down your back. And maybe as you're exhaling, just drawing in your navel or your lower abdomen. Giving your core some strength tonight. And on your next inhale, I invite you to raise your arms towards the ceiling. Bringing your palms together, pausing at the top. And then as you exhale, lowering your arms down. Pausing at the bottom, inhaling your arms up. Pausing at the top, and then exhaling, lowering your arms down. I'm going to do this one more time, inhaling up. Pausing, and exhaling down. We're going to inhale up. Bring our hands together, and as we exhale, we're just going to point our fingers to the right, maintaining that balance on our sit bones. If it feels okay, looking up towards the ceiling, coming into a seated half moon, actively pointing your fingers to the right, and then inhaling up, and exhaling, pointing your fingers to the left. Once again, your drishti or your gaze can be forward or up towards the ceiling. Keeping those hands active. Inhaling back up. Maybe looking up to the ceiling this time, reaching way up, and then exhaling your hands down. And I invite you to place your hands beside your thighs, on the outside of your thighs. We're going to inhale, looking up. Breathing into the front of our neck there. Continuing to breathe. And then on an exhale, we're going to look all the way down. Once again, breathing. This time focusing on the muscles in the back of your neck. Inhaling, looking out. And as we exhale, we're going to tilt our ear towards our shoulder, our right shoulder. We're going to hold this for a few breaths here. Breathing into the left side of our neck. Inhaling, coming up. And as we exhale, we're going to tilt our left ear to our left shoulder. Now breathing into that right side of your neck. Couple more breaths here. Remembering to sit up tall. Nice active Sukhasana. And then inhaling to center. And exhaling here. We're going to do some gentle shoulder rolls, get our shoulders moving. So you can just start rolling your shoulders in whatever direction you're feeling is going to work for you tonight. Going all the way up, all the way back, down and to the front. And then we're going to switch directions. Remembering to breathe here. We'll meet in the center. We're going to inhale our arms into cactus. And as we exhale, we're going to drop our hands into, I guess, drooping cactus. I don't know. Inhaling back up. Exhaling back down. We'll do this a couple more times, following your breath. And on your next exhale, dropping your hands behind your back and just clasping them behind your back. As we inhale, we're just going to open our collarbone to the ceiling, dropping our hands down behind our back. Just into a gentle back bend here. Opening up that collarbone up to the ceiling, dropping our head back if that feels okay. And on your next inhale, coming back to center. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna take our block out and strategically place it towards the front of our mat. And then we're gonna come onto our hands and knees, coming into a tabletop here. So nice active tabletop, checking your fingers, spreading them wide. Ensuring that your wrists are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. Gazing forward here. Holding for a yoga breath. And you guys might remember this from last class, but we practiced doing cat-cow with the opposite breathing of that we normally do. So we're going to inhale, moving into cat. So your forehead and your tailbone are reaching towards your mat. And then as we exhale, we're going to come into cow. Raising our forehead and our tailbone up to the ceiling. One more time. Inhale into cat. Curving your spine, tucking in your navel, and exhaling to cow. Do this a few more times on your own, following your breath. Taking your time to warm up your spine and your shoulders. And also see how this is feeling in your body. One more cycle here. All right, we're going to meet in tabletop. And as we exhale, we're going to flip our toes under, raising our bum to the ceiling, coming into our first downward dog. You want to have your fingers spread here. You might want to pedal your legs a little bit. Maybe go side to side. And then settling yourself, pushing through that fleshy part of your hand. Raising your tailbone to the ceiling. One more breath here. Your drishti up towards your navel. And on an exhale, we're going to bend our knees like frog. Inhaling big steps forward to the top of the mat. Exhaling down in a forward fold here. Taking a moment to check that your tummy's touching the tops of your thighs and your hands are touching the floor. Inhaling up halfway into Ardha Uttanasana. Actively engaging this pose, letting your shoulders drop down your back, drawing in your navel, exhaling back down, forward fold. And then as we inhale, we're going to come into salute, reaching towards the ceiling. Maybe getting a little back bend in here, exhaling down through Samastiti, palms together, and then exhaling all the way down to Tadasana. All right, so we'll take a moment here in Tadasana. Your feet are either together or slightly apart, no wider than hip distance. You're grounding through that Pada Bandha. So you're drawing energy up and walking down at your feet, engaging your knees. As you're breathing through your yoga breath, you can try opening up your hands and see how that feels. And sometimes it helps to keep your shoulders from bunching forward. Drawing in that navel area. Collarbone open towards the ceiling. Maybe drawing your chin in just a little bit. And on the inhale, we're going to come to salute. Once again, raising our hands towards the ceiling, reaching up high. Exhaling our hands all the way down to forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling our hands back down. Taking our right foot and stepping it back. Coming into a low lunge. So checking that front knee is over top of your front ankle. We're going to drop our knee down. Maybe putting the tops of our foot on the mat, if that feels okay. And also you can scoot your front foot to the left a little bit if you need some more space there. I always find I do. On an inhale, we're going to bring our hands to our hips. And on another inhale, if it feels okay, we're going to raise our hands to the ceiling. Maybe bring our hands together. And on an exhale, we're going to bring our hands back down, raising that knee back up, and exhaling our front foot to meet the back. We're going to come into our first plank here, holding for a yoga breath. And as we exhale, we're going to lower slowly down through Chaturanga Dandasana to the floor, forehead on the mat. Inhaling, lifting your forehead and your chest into Baby Cobra. Exhaling back down. Inhaling up through tabletop. Finding your alignment. And then as we exhale, raising our bum towards the ceiling. Once again, lifting that tailbone up towards the ceiling. Maybe turning those elbow pits a little more towards the top of the mat. Maybe dropping your heels down a little more. And your drishti up towards your navel. On your next exhale, bend your knees like a frog. Inhaling big steps forward to the top of the mat. Exhaling down into forward fold. Hands touching the floor. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling back down. And then inhaling up all the way to salute. Reaching way up towards the ceiling. And exhaling our hands down. Palms touching. And exhaling all the way down to Tadasana. Again, finding your root in Tadasana. Finding the grounding. And then we're going to inhale to salute. Exhaling our hands down all the way to touch the mat, forward fold. Letting our tummy touch the top of our thighs. And as you're holding this and continuing to breathe, you can try to straighten your legs a little bit, keeping your tummy touching your thigh. Continuing to breathe here. And that, my friends, is the trick of forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Raising your core up. Exhaling back down. This time we're going to take our left foot, step it back, coming into a low lunge. So once again, ensuring that knee is over top of your ankle. Then we're going to drop the knee, maybe flatten the foot. Switch that front foot over if it feels like that's feeling good for you tonight. Inhaling our hands up to our waist. For a yoga breath here.
Please present TV.
And then inhaling our hands all the way up into low lunge. As you exhale, bring your hands down to either side of your foot, lifting up that back knee and stepping back with your front foot. So your front foot meets your back, coming into plank for a yoga breath. And then as we exhale, we're going to lower all the way down. Inhaling into baby cobra. And exhaling back down. Inhaling up to your tabletop.
No, first home.
Into down.
Do your homework. If you're gonna bug me and don't let me do yoga, then you won't know what to do.
Looking at your navel here, your drishti's on your navel. Continuing to breathe, making sure your fingers are spread. Lifting that tailbone up towards the ceiling. One more breath here. And on an exhale, we'll bend our knees like a frog. Inhaling, big steps forward to the top of the mat. Exhaling down, forward fold. Once again, taking a moment here. Maybe try to straighten your knees a bit with your tummy touching your thighs. Really helps to keep your back healthy by doing it this way. Inhaling, coming up halfway into Ardha Uttanasana. Drishti straight ahead. Exhaling back down. And then inhaling all the way up. Reaching way out to salute. Maybe coming into a little bit of a back bend. And then exhaling down through Samastiti. Hands together. And then exhaling all the way down into Tadasana. Great job, you guys. All right. So we're in Tadasana and our feet are about hip distance apart, maybe a little more narrow. We're looking straight ahead and we're going to come into one-legged Tadasana. So you're going to inhale your hands up, lifting up your right knee. And hold this just for a couple breaths. And on your next exhale, we're going to take a big step back with our right foot. So your back foot, it's this wide distance between your front foot and your back foot. And your back foot's opening up almost 90 degrees so that your hips are facing the long side of your mat. We're going to inhale our arms up into a T. Reaching that front left hand forward. And as we exhale, we're going to bring our left hand down. Right hand comes up into triangle or Trikonasana. If you have your block handy, you can grab that. Right hand reaching towards the ceiling. Your drishti could be straight ahead or up at the ceiling. Drawing your navel in here. Continuing to breathe. And then on an inhale, we're going to bring our arms up. This time looking over top of our front fingers. And as we exhale, we're going to bend that front knee. Coming into warrior two. You might even want to widen your stance a little bit here if you're feeling it. You can check your back hand and make sure it's somewhat in line with your front. Nice weight distribution between both feet here. You can even peek down at your knee and make sure you can see that inside of your foot so that you know your alignment is healthy. Shoulders dropping down your back. And on an inhale, we're going to flip the front hand up so your palms facing the ceiling. Right hand goes behind on your thigh, inhaling that front hand up towards the ceiling. Coming into reverse warrior. If it feels okay, your gaze could be at the ceiling. Or straight ahead if that feels better for you today. Then on your next exhale, we take our front elbow here, drop it on our front knee. Then we're going to scoot that right hand down and up. Coming into extended wide angle, extended side angle. And if you like, you can also grab your block and maybe drop that front hand down a little further. Really drawing in your abdomen here to keep your core strong. Continuing to breathe, actively reaching through that front hand while maintaining your weight balance between your 2 feet. And on an exhale, we're going to swoop that hand down, grab our block, come into wide-legged. So we pivoted our feet. So our feet are parallel with front and back of the mat. Take that block and put it on at the back of your mat now. We're going to inhale our arms up, reaching towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to drop our hands down to the mat, giving our knees a micro bend here. Inhaling, looking up. And as we exhale, we're going to walk our hands back between our feet, elbows facing behind us. I like to widen my stance a little bit more here. So if you'd like to do that, that's cool too. Continuing to walk your hands back. You can play a little bit with moving your weight towards the front of your feet without, of course, falling over. One more breath. And on your next inhale, bring your hands to your hips, coming up halfway. Exhaling. And we're going to inhale, coming up all the way. Keeping that core engaged. I'm going to scooch my feet here. And we're going to move to the back of our mat now. So we're facing the back of our mat. Once again, we're coming into Tadasana. So our feet are about hip distance apart. Taking a breath here, grounding through Tadasana. Nice posture, letting those shoulders drop down your back. Engaging your core. And on an inhale, we're going to raise our left foot up. And our hands up towards the ceiling in the one-legged Tadasana. Just for a couple breaths here. And on your next exhale, we're going to take a big step back. So being sure that your back foot's opening up almost 90 degrees, your hips, once again, your pelvic areas are facing the long side of the mat. Right, inhale our arms up into a T. And as we exhale, we're going to reach towards the back of the mat. And then we're going to bring our right hand down to grab our block if it's there. Left hand is in the air. Continuing to breathe here. Keeping that core strong by just drawing in your navel. One more breath here. And on an inhale, we're going to come on up, keeping our hands in a T, looking over our right fingers now. As we exhale, we're going to bend our front knee over top of our ankle, coming into warrior two on the other side. Shoulders dropping down your back, maybe checking that back hand, goes in line with the front. Maybe one more time, taking a peek to see that you can see that inner part of your foot. Continuing to breathe here. On your next exhale, you take the back hand, just drop it on your side, inhaling your palm up towards the ceiling, bringing your right hand up, coming into reverse warrior, keeping that front knee bent. So your feet don't move, just your arms do. And on your next exhale, taking your right elbow, dropping it onto that right knee, swooping that back hand down and then up. Reaching towards the back of your mat now. And if it feels okay, you can grab your block, put it in front of your foot there. Coming into extended side angle. Maintaining your breath here. Actively reaching that hand, your left hand towards the back. And on an exhale, we'll swoop down, coming up, pivoting our feet. Once again, get my block out of the way. So your feet are parallel with the front and the back of the mat. We're going to inhale our arms up. As we exhale, we're going to clasp our hands behind our back. Inhale, opening up our chest to the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to hinge at the waist, giving our knees a little micro bend here. Coming into wide-legged forward fold. Allowing gravity to push your hands towards the floor. Keeping that core strong by drawing your navel in. Keeping your legs active through that micro bend in the knees. One more breath here. And on an inhale, we'll bring our hands to our hips, coming up halfway. Exhaling. And as we inhale, drawing our bodies up, using our core. And then we're going to exhale, bring your feet together at the back of the mat. All right. Good job, everybody. So pretty much the rest of the practice, we're going to be using the wall. And we're going to be using a strap eventually. So for those of us who are a little late joining, you'll need a strap here. Not right away for this pose, but eventually. So you can take your mat and turn it sideways so that it's facing the wall. So you have it ready. And then I'm going to stand over here just because my mat gets a little bit slippery. Let's do this over here. All right. So you might remember our standing pose tonight is, or for this sequence is standing figure 4. So you're standing in front of your wall and there's about probably about half a foot distance away. So you're not right up against the wall. And then we're just going to move into figure 4 like we normally do. So we're going to shift our weight to our right foot, taking our left foot, crossing it. And then as we exhale, we're going to slowly sink down and you're going to find probably your bum is touching the wall. And feel free to, if it feels a little weird, you can even step a little further away from the wall, just so that you have the wall supporting you. So some people like to, as they come into figure 4, they like to continue to lean forward. Some people like to use the wall and see what it feels like to go against it with their backs. I'm gonna just put my bum on the wall tonight because that feels good for me. I'm drawing in my navel here. And it's nice to have the wall for support because then it gives you that opportunity to focus more on your core and your navel and letting your shoulders drop down, coming into a figure 4 without worrying about falling. One more breath here. And as we exhale, we'll drop that left foot down, coming on up. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Okay, so now that we've got a pretty good distance from the wall that feels good for us, we're gonna go to the other side now. We're gonna take our right foot, cross it, woo. And then as we exhale, we're gonna bend that standing knee. Once again, I'm leaning forward. Some people like to lean completely against the wall. I just like to kind of rest my bum on it. Once again, nice strong core here. Allowing your shoulders to drop down your back. Maybe noticing how different this feels than when you're standing without the wall. Finding that spot your drishti can look at or focus on. Then we're going to inhale, sliding back up, coming out of the pose. All right, good job, you guys. So we're going to do some work on goddess next. So you might recall, goddess, your legs are wider than hip distance apart. I tend to like quite a wide stance for goddess. So feel free to adjust your stance as you go. Your toes are facing diagonally away, so they're not straight up. Facing that way. We're going to bring our hands to prayer, inhaling. Backs are on the wall. And as we exhale, we're going to bend our knees. So you can check your knee or your feet here. You might have to adjust a little bit so that your knees are heading in the same direction as your toes. So once again, some people like to put their back completely against the wall and see how that feels. Some people like to lean forward a little bit. If this is feeling good for you tonight, there's the option to inhale your arms up. Maybe bringing your palms together. Continuing to breathe. And on the exhale, we're gonna bring our hands down to our knees. And we're just gonna lean forward. So my bum is touching the wall and nothing else. And as we exhale, we're just gonna lean a little further forward. Drawing in your core, nice strong core here. And on your next exhale, you're gonna drop your right shoulder down, bring your left shoulder up. So we're coming into a revolved goddess. So your drishti can be straight ahead or at the ceiling. And you don't have to go too far here. Being sure to be turning through your navel here. And inhaling, coming up. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to exhale that, drop that left shoulder and raise the right one. Nice strong core, so you're not falling down. So you don't have to do this, but imagining your shoulders are in line. Trust me, they won't be. Inhaling, coming back to center. One more breath here. And then on an inhale, we're going to slide our bones back up the wall, coming to standing. Good job, guys. Okay, so you guys might remember this from another class. We're going to go into, it's called a wall downward dog. So your feet are going to be a little more than hip distance apart. You're going to be facing the wall. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to put our hands against the wall, and then we're going to walk them down. And if you need to more space, create more space here. So you're kind of creating a square with your body and your legs. Pushing your hands against the wall, spreading those fingers out. So looks like this for me. Drawing that navel in. Nice active pose here. One more breath. And on an inhale, we're going to walk ourselves back up. And I'm going to turn back to face you guys. All right, so now throughout our practices, we've done multiple options on how to use the wall with Warrior 3. So some people like to use their hands on the wall. You're more than welcome to do that this time, or you can try using your foot on the wall. So we're going to take just a little step further forward, and then we're just going to check the distance here. So if your foot can touch the wall, you're at a good distance, but you want your legs straight. So I have to go a little bit further up, and so I'm going to push my foot up. All right, perfect. So find your perfect distance, and then come into Tadasana with your feet about hip distance apart. So once again, we're finding that strength through our core. Taking a yoga breath. And on our next inhale, we're going to take our right foot back, find the wall. And when that feels good, you can bring your hands into prayer. Maybe giving that front knee just a little bit of a bend. Some people like to put their hands out like this. You can play around. And if this feels okay, you might even try reaching out. And on inhale, we'll come up. Shake it out a little bit. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side now. So finding your Tadasana. Inhaling that left foot back to find the wall. Woo! It might feel different on each side, and that's totally normal because our bodies are not the same. Putting your hands where you want them. Some people like to put them back. Maybe playing with a few different ones. Maybe reaching your hands out. And exhaling foot down. Great job, you guys. Okay, so we're hitting the last little bit of our yoga practice here. And we're going to do some legs up the wall. So I invite you to come to the top of the mat, your mat that is perpendicular to the wall. We're going to go through a vinyasa here. So we're going to inhale our hands up. Nice salute. Exhaling our hands all the way down. Forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling our hands back down. Stepping one foot back and then the other. Feeling free to drop your knees. Exhaling all the way down. Inhaling up to baby cobra. Or if you'd like, you could come all the way up. Pushing your hands into the mat a bit, into a full cobra. Exhaling back down. And we're going to inhale, coming through plank. And then exhaling to child's pose. So your hands can be out in front of you, maybe pushing into the mat. Finding your breath here. Your forehead's touching the mat. And you want to put your hands on either side of your legs. That is perfectly fine. You take your child pose. Couple more breaths here. And on your next inhale, just going to gently raise ourselves up. And then we're going to find ourselves sitting up. So some people like to have a blanket against the wall right here when they go into legs up the wall. I'm just going to grab my extra yoga mat here. You could use a sweater, anything you want to maybe just lift your hips up just a little bit. And then we're going to sit close as we can against the wall with our knees up against the wall, or like one of our knee anyway. And then we're going to lean back, walking our legs up the wall and moving our bum towards the wall. So that we're in a leg with the wall position. Don't worry if your butt's not completely touching the wall. That's totally fine. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds here to find your placement. So the first thing we're going to do is come into it's kind of like a half happy baby. So we're going to take our left knee and bring it in towards our chest. And then we're going to take our left hand, run it alongside the inside of our leg, and just grab either our ankle or our toes or the outside of our foot, drawing our knee towards our chest. My knee's on the kind of the outside of my chest, but drawing our knee towards us. Breathing here. And this is where the magic of the strap comes in. So you're going to grab your sock or your strap. You're going to take your left hand and just release your left foot here, taking your strap, maybe sliding it alongside from the bottom. You've got it on either side of your foot. And then you're going to straighten your knee or straighten your leg. And on an inhale, you're just going to pull your foot towards you. So this is head to knee, reclined head to knee. And you're going to use the strap however feels good for you tonight, creating maybe some tension, or giving you a little extra reach here. Continuing to breathe. And on an exhale, you're going to keep your hands holding that strap and just let your left foot go back towards the wall. Then you're going to take both sides of your strap in your left hand. So keeping some tension there on your left foot. As we exhale, we're going to let our left foot drop down along the wall. So you can take it to where you want it. You can use your strap to sort of support your foot here. You can use it to create tension. If it's feeling okay, you can allow your foot to continue to slide down the wall. Maybe actively engaging the right toes. Reminding your right leg you haven't forgotten about it. You can even start to soften your breath a bit here. And on an inhale, we're just going to draw our foot back up. Exhaling, letting that sock go. We're going to follow that same sequence on the other side. So we're going to bring our right knee down towards our body, reaching that right hand through the inside of our leg and grabbing either our ankle, our shin, or the outside of our foot. Coming into like a half happy baby. we're going to take our strap and slide it underneath our foot. So grabbing either side of our strap here on either side of our foot, we're going to straighten our leg up along the wall. And then as we inhale, we're going to draw that foot. We stay towards our forehead, but it's definitely not going to have to reach your forehead. So drawing your right foot towards you. Coming into head to knee pose, reclined head to knee pose on the other side. And continue to breathe here. And on an exhale, just whoops, I lost my strap there. I'm going to keep our hands holding our strap. We're going to switch both sides now to our right hand, letting your right foot rest along the wall. And as you exhale, just letting that right foot drop, slide down the wall. And using the strap how you need to, maybe to create some tension, maybe to create some support. Maybe you don't want to use the strap. You can, up to you. Just see how your body's feeling. And then on an inhale, we're going to bring that right foot back up. Letting the strap go. You can just let it go beside you here. If this feels okay for you guys tonight, on your next exhale, we're going to open, letting our both feet slide down the wall. Breathing into those inner thighs. Maybe flipping our palms up to face the ceiling. Allowing gravity to push our feet down a little more. And on an inhale, sliding your feet back up the wall, bring them together. And as we exhale, bringing our feet together, like the soles of our feet, bending our knees, coming into reclined bound angle pose. So your knees are bending, your feet are, the soles of your feet are touching, and your feet are sliding down the wall. Start to fully let go of your breath here. Allowing it to find its natural rhythm. And more than welcome to stay. Some people like to stay in this pose for the rest of the class. Or you can straighten your legs coming into just the full legs up the wall. You might want to bend your knees, putting your feet on the wall. whatever's feeling good for you tonight. Letting your tongue fall away from the backs of your teeth. Allowing your face to relax. Maybe noticing that space between your eyeballs and your eyelids. We're coming back into our breath here. Maybe wiggling our toes a little bit, wiggling our fingers, and sliding our feet down the wall, bending our knees, drawing our knees into our chest, giving ourselves a nice hug. We're just gonna hold this position, recline, child's pose, for a little bit. Maybe roll your ankles a little bit if that feels good. And then when you're ready, just turning towards one side. Maybe drawing an arm underneath your head. We take our time here. And when you're ready, just using your hands, push yourself up. Then you're gonna find yourself sitting once again with your knees against the wall. And then coming into sitting. Thanks, guys, for sharing your practice with me tonight. Namaste.